We're back on the Ride 9 Lounge live Saturday morning. DSN Network, W1 Broadcasting, 1620 in the Lehigh Valley, and obviously always on 9feetlounge.com.
Now that we found love, what are we going to do with it?
We need love, man.
Yeah,
we need
definitely
some love. Continue to join by Let Your Voice Be Heard. Before we continue on this conversation, give a little insight about your show.
Oh, wow. So basically, we talk about politics, foreign policy, social issues, and pop culture, but from a millennial perspective. So some way we managed to mix in brunch and Hennessy, thanks to Stanley every week, who's hungover, into these real issues. And Beyonce and Blue Ivy. So it's really good. You guys should tune in.
We'll have a show like is Puerto Rico America's side chick, because you know Puerto Rico is going bankrupt. They want to file for bankruptcy, but they can't because they're America's Commonwealth.
Right.
So it's like because America has control over them, they can't file for bankruptcy, but they're not a state, so they can't get in.
I like the Iceberg Slim reference there. I like that. That was real smooth.
And last weekend, actually, we talked about recidivism and how to reduce it. And
Tell Azrael to spell that.
Don't do that. No, stop. Stop.
Forget.
Stop.
So
That's not
mean.
right. That's not right. That's not right.
Voices heard.
I beg your pardon.
Honestly, I ain't even heard of that word.
That's what I'm about to say.
You saw my face. I ain't even hear that word.
He's like, huh?
Give me a definition of it.
No, don't hurt him. It's too early for that. Too early.
people go back to prison after they've been in prison.
Oh.
You know that, right?
Well, yeah, we know that.
As I've experienced that a couple times.
Yeah.
But we can move on. Let's move on now to the Democrats. Now, obviously, we know it's a two-person race. Can't say two-man race. Two-person race. Hillary, who looks like it's going to be the nominee, and your guy Bernie.
Oh, you like Bernie?
Grandpa Bernie.
Burn, what's up?
Weekend at Bernie's, huh?
Your thoughts on the democratic process? Any one of you guys can tap into that. What's your thoughts?
Well, okay, yeah. So I definitely do feel the burn.
Burn is
I don't
out,
think
though.
it is. I think that there's been some talk that he should drop out. He said that's absurd. He has a lot of money. He's going to keep going. I think what he's contributed to this race has been monumental. You hear Hillary Clinton sounding more and more like Bernie Sanders when it comes to policy, when it comes to race relations. She's been very vocal and sort of echoing the voices on the left, those progressive voices.
I think Bernie may be Hillary's vice president.
I doubt it.
Well, no, you know what? They did ask him. They did ask him at one of the rallies.
No.
And he said, right now, there's not something to talk to.
That's not going to happen.
Hillary, are you going to do it?
He might be on her cabinet. He's not going to be vice
he's still
president.
focused on trying to win the election. He's not thinking about
I'm
going
not
to be a
saying,
vice
but
president.
I wouldn't be surprised if
The
if
one
he
thing
was vice
that Bernie Sanders did for Hillary Clinton, he made her a better candidate. Too.
Definitely.
Because
Yeah,
through this
definitely
process,
did.
and I'll be the first one on this mic even. I think even one time you was here, I was laughing at Hillary Clinton. No. At that time, I was looking at the litany of Republicans, but
I was getting ready to say Chelsea Clinton should run for president.
No,
Chelsea
no.
Clinton.
Oh, boy.
No, don't say that,
She
please.
just had a baby.
Yeah.
How is Chelsea doing? I haven't heard.
I don't know.
She just had her baby.
Ask
She's
Chris-
good.
Ask Chris
Oh, but
Tucker.
I haven't-
But you know what you can say is that at least when you watch the two Democrats get up there and debate, they're talking about real
Yes.
issues.
Yeah, it's
They're not
professional.
talking
It's
about
professional.
Who has
Hand
bigger
size,
hands or
yeah.
other things.
Who wets their pants.
Or who can, get the best sixth grade insult.
Right,
Like
right.
they're actually talking about income inequality, about racial issues in America, about foreign policy, about the real
Right.
issues that
It's a real
Americans
debate.
care about. It's a real debate.
But
And
Donald
so-
Trump never talks about nothing.
But
He
we're not
just-
talking about him no more.
Oh,
Let's move
okay,
on
but
from
yeah.
him. We're talking about Hillary. Now, the only way now, let's talk about obviously the situation with Benghazi. There's still an investigation. So is that the one thing that would stop her? Because we've heard Cuomo saying if Hillary gets indicted, he would jump in.
I think it's about her emails.
Yes,
The
right.
indictment is potentially about her emails,
Right.
not about Benghazi.
Oh, I apologize. Right. No,
And
not
Benghazi
Benghazi.
is a non-story. She's been
Right.
clear that about 6 different times. The only reason it's still under investigation, air quotes, is because the Republicans control Congress and Senate. So they keep calling hearings for it. And in their own hearings, they found that she did nothing wrong.
So it's all the words I tagged.
It's just
Smoke.
smoke.
It
It's
is.
smoke and mirrors.
And then her-
They
They
said
said it
Smoke
on
and
live
mirrors.
television.
Yeah.
Well, look, we hurt Hillary by keeping her on trial for Benghazi, even though we know she didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Most Americans are not dumb, and they see right through this. And also the electorate
Said are
changes.
not dumb.
Yeah. Most the electorate changes.
Not the way they voting for Trump.
Yeah, we're
But
not talking about
uninformed.
those people.
Okay.
And to the
Once you broaden the electorate to the general population,
Right.
it changes. In 2012,
Yeah.
more black people came out to vote than white people for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And that shift is going to stay consistent. So,
Right.
it's a joke.
So pretty much of what we're saying, and even through all this cha-cha, it's like Hillary, if everything goes smooth, she should be our next president.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think that Hillary's biggest issue isn't this trumped up, pun intended,
no pun,
email scandal or the non-story that is Benghazi. I think the real issue is that she has a strong challenger from the left, and a lot of the people on the left feel disenfranchised with the establishment, just as people on the right do. And that's why Donald Trump is doing well, but that's also why Bernie Sanders has some traction. The thing is that Bernie Sanders isn't really well known nationally. Right. So, he does well with white middle-class people in places like Michigan and Vermont, but
Brooklyn
he doesn't
too.
have the kind of national appeal that Hillary Clinton has.
My thing, obviously, again, as a black man, and as obviously
really,
everybody, really, right? You can tell that this is not mascara.
Got the Carlson sweater on.
There you go. But my thing is obviously my problem with the Democrats, and this is why I was looking Republican for the first time, is because I feel like they just march somebody up every 4 years, and then they send out it used to be Jesse Jackson, now it's Al Sharpton or somebody else, or they'll bring an actor and they'll say, oh yeah, bro, vote Democrat, we're going to help you. But as long as I know, black folks are still suffering, we still have the unemployment issue, we're still having your biggest constituents, and your job is be blacks, probably African Americans. So my thing is obviously, you know what, the vote has to be earned. It can't just be about party affiliation. I agree with one thing that I heard Jesse Ventura say once. I know he's kind of off, but he said it's going to take an independent party, doesn't have the lobbyists, really to kind of balance the tide. Now, I'm not saying about Jesse, just saying in general that, I just feel like, we, as African American and Hispanics, we just give our vote to the Democrats, and I think that's wrong.
Well, there goes your problem right there. You over there giving away votes like it's free Hennessy at a party.
There you go.
And what we need to be doing, as Sophie Carmichael said, is like creating power to the black and Latino vote.
Right.
If we will put our foot on the necks of these politicians the way we should be, and be voting in state and local elections and city council elections and district leader elections, we'd have a lot more influence. But you can't vote for Obama twice in 8 years and think racism is over and the school prison pipeline is going to stop.
It's probably gotten worse.
You got a state senator in the Bronx who's not putting any funding into these schools, and they owe all of New York City schools over $2.5 billion, and we're sitting here talking about Donald Trump.
Right, there you go.
It's true. And just to piggyback of what Stanley was saying, the most important elections are local elections. That's what affects your pocket.
Yes.
That's what affects your streets and your schools.
Districts.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, because black people are so disenfranchised, or we have to work on the day that we're supposed to be at the polls.
I'm going to the
and it's
club.
just not convenient.
Yeah.
Or some people like Kev is at the club.
Kev?
I mean, you know who said it. I'm not there. I'm on those lines.
I know.
But the thing is, a lot of times, we'll stand in lines for the club. We'll stand in lines to get some Jordans, but you don't want to stand in line for an hour or two to cast your vote.
Yeah.
We have to do better. And with the Black Lives Matter movement, I feel like a lot more people, especially young people of color, are no longer apathetic. They're going to the polls. They're keeping up with this election, and I hope that this carries forward to midterm elections as well.
Being naive about it no more. Got to get out.
I would hope so.
But the problem is, I look at it as well, is that the fact that it's not enough information getting out to a lot of people to understand who is running. Because when you don't know who's running on your ticket in your local neighborhoods and everything else, it becomes a problem.
But Ed, whose fault is that in 2016?
No, it's going to be everybody's
We can
fault.
find the latest app. We can find out who's
you
doing what
can't-
on Love and Hip Hop.
But that's the situation.
Right.
You can't go. You have to have it just like how the old. No matter how much apps and stuff that you have, everything is local. So you still got to go through the same way of putting out that stuff over all the places that you go.
I disagree with that. You gotta want to find it. That's the problem.
But if it's in your face, I mean, you gotta want to fight it. But if it's in your face like it used to be, it's still.
It's
Hey,
in your
it's
face
in your
now.
face. It's on everybody's
it's
lawn.
not. No,
You
no,
go
no,
on
no,
somebody's
that's not in
lawn,
your-
somebody's
that's not in your-
building.
Let's stand.
They got no
Wait,
everywhere.
Wait, stop. Shut up. Go ahead, Stanley.
And I want to get back to Alyssa too, but it is in our faces. You know where I was yesterday morning? I was in East New York, Brooklyn, at Transit Tech High School, talking to 200 kids about voting. Got them all registered to vote and talked to them about the campaigns. But you know what? There's not enough people doing that. So all you guys in this room who are upset about this, go to the high school in the Bronx and talk to them. Set up events like that. Make voting fun. And also, when I was at Westbury in College with Selena, you know what we did on election day? We rented vans that drove people off campus to their polling sites to vote.
That's what's up.
We got so many people to vote, we turned a historically Republican district into Democrat. The white folks had me in their office the next day, pissed off.
I can imagine.
I'm
glad you're still standing.
Power.
No, see, but that's
Y'all was like missing college.
No, see, but I like that. I like that. That's a good thing. See, the other thing too, like I said, because Because I remember back when I was growing up, and they also had the signs and everything else all over the place. They had the vans that came out to the communities and talked about things and let people know what's happening, giving out pamphlets. I'm saying you still got to do some of the old stuff because
They still do that.
Not too much. Because I know
Not
in our areas they don't really do like
Not
that
as
no more.
much.
No, they
Well,
don't.
if you drive to work, I take the train to work. They still do it.
I want to go back to your initial question about, giving away a vote versus
Right,
earning
okay,
a
yes.
vote. Because a lot of, you mentioned you got to turn out, but a big part of this is people turned out to vote for Barack Obama in 2008, and they turned out to vote for Barack Obama in 2012. Where were they in 2010 when
Right.
Democrats lost the House?
Yeah.
Where were they in 2014 when Democrats lost the Senate?
I think
That's
black
true.
The
people only
people
want
who make laws is Congress. The president doesn't make laws. The president enforces them. So if you're, and a lot of those things, aside from all politics being local, which I totally agree with, which was already addressed at length by both Selena and Stanley, when people don't show up and vote in the midterms, then you're going to get a Congress that's working against the president's agenda, and then you're going to wonder why things aren't getting done. That's why things aren't getting done.
It's a
But you
log
know
jam.
what? But I think a lot of times they don't advertise as
But
much.
Charles Rodeo, that's the problem because and no disrespect to anybody, but this is passionate. That's the problem because we would find it if we want to find out. Like, no knock to you, but you knew about Dee Dee and her escapades on Black Ink. So if you can find
Because
that
it's
out,
publicized.
it's not you
It's
watch
all
it.
publicized.
Everything is
But-
public.
yeah,
you
everything
you
is
can turn on
publicized.
CNN. You can turn on public access.
True.
These things are here. We choose not to watch them, and that's the problem. And we keep hollering about, oh, I can't get a job. Oh, I can't get a job. The police are harassing me. Change the laws. Be responsible for and that's not about anybody here. It's just that I work with kids. I coach youth sports, and I get tired of these young boys telling me, oh, I ain't going to vote. But you go into the club. You know all the songs in the rap videos. Change your way of living.
Okay, see, my thing is
Change your
also
psyche.
but my
Right.
thing is also too is that
I'm sweating
besides changing the youth, you have to change the youth is one thing, but you also have to get the older people involved to help to change the youth.
But
If
they're
you don't-
blind, too.
You're 18. No, you're 18 years old.
No,
Hold
no,
on.
no, no, no,
At
no,
18 years old, I didn't need my mother or my father to tell me how to vote.
No, but the
I
whole-
knew by the time I was 16 what was the goings on
See, but
and
once
moving
again-
up. That's
once
that's
again-
called being an adult.
Once again, that's you. Not every person is that way.
Let's give it to Selena.
Well,
Go.
I agree to some extent. If you know better, do better. I don't think that we should rely on adults. We need to rely on the people in this room, like Alyssa said.
Right.
People that know better we need to help the people that do better. But I wanted to add to your point, not only can you turn on all these stations, but you can tweet our candidates. Bernie Sanders was on the Breakfast Club talking to Charlamagne the God. They are going above and beyond
It's
to
there
get
to get.
young millennials of color. If you guys, I mean, come on.
Barack was on MTV
Come on.
when he was
right.
running and
They're
stuff
doing
like
it.
that.
They're
It's-
out there.
There's more access to your politicians now than ever before.
Yeah.
Let's
of
talk
course.
about something though, and I don't hate to be the one because I'm gonna be the woke one in this room for a second. We have such like an established system of racism and poverty. When you have someone who exists in poverty for their entire lives,
Right.
they're not thinking about Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton.
That's
you know
true.
They're thinking about how I'm gonna get this chicken later today.
Yep.
So they're not
Right.
focused on
Yeah.
that. So how do you meet these people where they are? And we have to have those conversations. And it's frustrating when people aren't engaged in the process.
Right.
But you know what? Their life has been eat, sleep, wake up, go to work, eat, sleep.
That's why I think it's got to be people who look like them, who talk like them, who's been in those areas. I grew up on Bronx for that. We were just having that conversation on the way here. We were talking about one of the reality shows. I said, I lived that reality show, so I don't have to watch it on TV. So when I go out and talk to people, I'm like, listen, I'm no different than you. I ran these streets. I got harassed by the cops. I played basketball at the park. My thing
tried
is,
to play basketball
That
at the
too, I
park.
tried. Didn't do very well.
I
at
just
that.
wanna make it correct,
Thank
you
you.
know.
sir.
Thank
Only you would know that very
Yeah.
well, Romeo. Thank you. But my thing is that if we look alike, that's my motivation because that was what helped me. Somebody had the guy, I had hair in my head, this little nappy head kid that was, had this vision of what he thought the world was, and it wasn't always positive, but somebody said, no, sit down, let me guide you. And then that said it didn't come from home. My mother was a spiritual woman, but she wasn't so much, she was so much trying to keep the household together. There was another man in the neighborhood that said, no, let me show you how this works. So what I'm trying to say is that it can happen. You gotta plant a tree. You gotta plant seeds. No matter if it's today, tomorrow, next week, that tree's got to grow, and we have to nurture that tree. And I know we keep saying it, and I've heard it all my life, but it's got to start somewhere.
But people are so disenfranchised in our communities. That's the problem. They don't see government working in the immediate community. And they're just like, you know what? I'm just going to grind, do what I got to do.
But if that's the thing, if we're in the community, You know, if the Carl Hasties and the Ruth Thompsons and those people are in the community, they're the same people who grew up in that community
Definitely.
that have grown into other things. A lot of people haven't even been given stuff. I mean, you know, so it's a growth. Let's move on, guys. Let's talk about the Supreme Court nominee.
Oh, please, let's not talk about the Supreme Court. I'm
Merrick
fed up with
Garland
them.
got nominated by obviously Barack. Obviously, the Republicans said they're not going to give an interview.
No, they're gonna stall it.
Your thoughts on that?
So, I mean, personally speaking, Merrick Garland's a little centrist for my taste.
Right.
As far as judges go. However, politically speaking, this was an amazing move. I mean, he literally, this is like The Godfather.
Right.
Like, you know, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, and actually, Chuck Grassley, who's the head of the Judiciary Committee, who is sticking to his guns with Mitch McConnell saying, we're not going to hold any hearings, we're not even going to consider this guy, you know, he's actually now going to be challenged. He's at risk now for losing a seat that he has won, I think something like, you know, 10 election cycles in a row, maybe even more than that. And now he's at a real risk to lose that seat because even Republicans that live in his district are like, we're not necessarily saying you got to vote for this guy and put him on the court, but you at least have to consider him by holding the hearings. The Constitution says shall. Shall means must. You must hold the hearings. You must do this. Otherwise, you're not doing your job. You're the one who's abdicating your responsibility under the Constitution. So from a political perspective, even though I don't particularly love Merrick Garland, I think that
Right, I think
you know, the president was
necessary
was
two evils. Yep.
exactly, because if he would have appointed somebody or nominated somebody like Jane Kelly, who was the public defender, or like Justice Jackson Brown, who's the African American woman, they would have just laughed him right out of Congress. You know?
But wasn't
Justice
the same nominee was the one that they said that we probably would vote for them
Yes.
if
Yes.
you turn
Yes.
around and nominate them?
Yeah, and now if Bernie Sanders wins and he appoints Asana Shakur or somebody crazy like that, the great thing about this is that they're gonna have to drag Merrick through the mud.
Right.
They're gonna have to, especially if he gets any kind of like hearing a conversation. They like him a lot.
Yeah.
This is their boy. They're gonna drag him through the mud. Bernie's gonna get elected, or Hillary's gonna get elected. She's gonna say, "I want Obama on there." They're gonna go, "What about Merrick?" And then the American people are gonna go, "But wait, you said that he slaps babies."
Yeah.
What's the last case that's the Supreme Court held under? What was the last case? What did the Supreme Court actually do? But
Just don't look at me.
So the Supreme Court hears appeals that go up. So the way it works is there's like lower court cases, and then if there's an appealable issue of law, it goes up to a higher court. There's two different tracks. I mean, there's the state court level out of every state, which eventually you could take an appeal under state law up to the Supreme Court. Or if you're in federal court, it goes district court, circuit court, and then you can file what's called a petition for certiorari. And the court gets about 800 of those petitions a year, and they hear about 80 cases. So about 10% of the petitions that come up to the court, they only hear about 10%
I think
of
you
those
should
cases.
go see Alyssa once a week to kind of learn.
Definitely.
some-
I definitely you need to have a one-on-one with her.
I'm engaged at how
Because if he didn't have those dark glasses, his eyeballs would look like a cartoon.
but they decide, they're the highest court in the land. They decide issues of constitutional law, issues of statutory interpretation, and sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes disputes between the states or between different branches of the government.
Guys, I know this.
Wow.
This has been great.
I learned something.
We're running out of
They
time
made us
here.
fight.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, we just got past it. I'd like to have you guys back as we get closer to the general election and really kind of feed on.
You send in a car service to pick us up next time, right?
We'll get Rodeo to pick you up. No worries on that. You don't live on
like the way
that
my
low,
checking
man.
and gas is
You don't live on
working.
Stone Street, do you? That's good. Okay, we'll come get you up. But again, thank you guys for coming on the show. One more time, they can find your show tomorrow.
Definitely. Everyone can tune in at 11 a.m. Eastern Time at www.lyvbh.com. That's the acronym for Let Your Voice Be Heard. That's the name of the show.
And if you don't want to wake up that early, we're on iTunes Podcast and on Stitcher for Android phone users. And it's LYVBH Radio. And all of our episodes are up there. We have over 200 episodes. Go in there and binge all you want.
It's a fantastic show. So instead of watching reruns of Real Housewives of Atlanta in the morning, pop on these guys and get some real knowledge.
Or the tournament.
Well, that's late in the day. Alyssa, Stanley, Selena, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to bring my man up from London and really dumb this conversation down live. It's not Be Loud Live on a Saturday morning. Come on back.